Are you buying Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Switch 2? Now, this game, it comes out very soon, and I know I've had a lot of stuff happening in my personal life in the month of September, which has been a roller coaster to say the least. But where in the name of God did September go? I feel like September just started and now we're finally getting into my favorite time of the year, which is October through January. You got basketball coming back, football's in full swing, the temperatures are dropping, holidays are coming with Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, the trifecta of holidays in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know where the hell September went, but with September leaving, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are releasing on the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. Now, been a very interesting road for this game. There's been lots of discussions online, lots of talks, and lots of chatter. Some of it is stemming from the price point of the game. $70 for a Nintendo Switch 1 game, which puts it right up there with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom as the most expensive Nintendo Switch 1 game. Now, I get it. Our friend Mr. Bowser, good old Doug Bowser, Solange Bowser, did introduce us to the term variable pricing, so I guess we should, have expected this. But it is a little bit strange to see, especially considering, Tears of the Kingdom is the other $70 Switch 1 game, and I feel like the development cost of that game was probably a little bit more than it was for Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Switch and the Switch 2. There's also been some other changes done to the game in terms of visuals, at least from what is to be perceived from the information that we have out there. Now, I think some of the Super Mario Galaxy 1 stuff has been over-embellished. I don't think that there's, textures that are missing and stuff like that. I honestly think it's just the compression of the YouTube video. But when you look at Super Mario Galaxy 2 and that comparison that we took a look at the other day on the channel, there's definitely a noticeable change that kind of extends beyond just a YouTube compression thing. If this was YouTube compression, essentially compressing this video, then the textures in the background would also be limited in the amount of detail that they have when it comes to the little wood planks. But you could clearly see the ridges in the wood planks, whereas on this tile here that has some steel on it, it doesn't have that texture anymore. At least that's what's to be perceived from the footage that we have seen. So I'm not quite sure that that is just a compression issue. That does look like a potential change. Now, I'm not saying change is necessarily bad, but in this case, I do think it kind of makes it look a little bit more simplistic than it did on the Wii, but we'll have to see when these games come out. Of course, you do have some additional stuff that's put into these games, some additional storybook chapters. I know a lot of us are really deep into the lore of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. A very riveting tale that really just transcends video games in my opinion. You do have some easier modes and stuff that have been included as well in assist mode, and of course you do have a ability to listen to the soundtrack from these games and a little soundtrack listener, even though you probably already have the Nintendo Music app, or if you don't have that and you're just a normal person, you have YouTube, which has had these soundtracks on them since these games originally came out. But I say all that to say, are you buying this game? Are you buying the $70 version? Are you buying them individually for $40 a piece, thus costing you $80 if you want to purchase one now and one later? Because realistically speaking, if you're waiting for a sale for these games, you might be waiting for a very, very long time. Now, I'm hopeful that there is a sale on these. If I were to pick these up at $50 or something like that, that seems a lot more palatable for me. Or if the individual games go down in price a bit, I would like to play Super Mario Galaxy 2 because I've never played it. But then again, I also don't think that $40 is really appropriate for what this game actually is. But when you look at various sales charts and stuff like that, it does kind of seem like a lot of people that are talking about this game online may indeed be in a vocal minority. Taking a look at Amazon, which this is updated as of Monday morning, These are our top selling things here. You can see Roblox cards and PlayStation cards and crap like that. But when it comes to actual games, you have Ghost of Yotai, or Yotei. I don't know how you say it. I'm a white gaijin here. Oh, you can't even see what I'm showing you. You've got Ghost of Yotai, you've got Silent Hill F, and then in 12th place, you do have Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now, how good of an indication is Amazon? I mean, you know, your mileage is going to vary on that. A lot of people do purchase games digitally. There are multiple other retailers out there, but I do think it does give you some sort of clue as to how this game is potentially doing. If you take a look at the Nintendo Switch eShop, this game is actually #1 right now when it comes to games that are coming out for the system and people buying the game. So once again, another indication of people wanting to play these games either for the first time or play it again. And there is sort of that air of mystery when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game, because everything we've seen footage-wise from these games so far has been specifically Nintendo Switch 1 footage. Now, of course, I'm not anticipating a large jump in the footage that we've seen to how it'll run on the Nintendo Switch 2. It seems like the main thing is up to 4K visuals in this game as well. You know, you might notice a bit more clarity. You might not, depending on your eyes. You know, you might need to get LASIK like John did because, I mean, when he was born, God gave John some very, very bad eyes. But, you know, it's going to be a thing where, you know, the structural fortitude of the game is the exact same. You're just getting a slight bump in visuals and a slight bump in that resolution, I should say, because I expect the visuals to be exactly the same when it comes to this game. But I do wonder, like, is this something that a lot of people are looking forward to? Is this something that a lot of people are going to pick up on day one? Because I do think this game is going to sell. You got to remember that, you know, there's people out there that were probably like 6 or 7 when the Wii came out, and maybe this was their childhood Mario game. So to see this game now released on the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2 with better visuals and stuff like that, this could be something that's enticing for people. You know, a lot of people did not also pick up 3D All-Stars. Either they didn't have a Switch at the time, or maybe they didn't really think it was going to be a limited thing like Nintendo decided to do with it. But for whatever reason, Nintendo did decide to do that with that game. And I do wonder if they're potentially going to do that with this game as well. Both of these games were done in celebrations. You know, the 3D All-Stars collection was to celebrate the 35th anniversary. Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 are to celebrate the 40th anniversary. So what has kind of changed here? Why does one have a potential limited time release and the other game doesn't? Are they maybe seeing what happened with the FOMO of that and thinking to themselves, well, maybe we could sell more units of this one over time? It's a very calculated decision. And I think it's an interesting topic to talk about as well, because I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. Like, if you want to spend $70 on this on day one, go right ahead. You know, like, I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Now, it does kind of feed into, you know, Nintendo's pricing of stuff like that, because if things don't sell at a high price, then, you know, they're going to have to adjust that price. Well, unless you're Xbox, and then you just make the price higher. But at least on the software side of things, you do have a little bit more leeway with things like that. But in the same breath, it's also like, I mean, people bought Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Switch. That cost more than it did originally on the Wii and the 3DS. Or the Wii U and the 3DS. Like, you know, it's one of those situations where people are going to buy what they want to buy. People love Nintendo products. People pay exorbitant prices for things all the time, from brands that they love, from companies that they love. Whether or not it's good for the industry, I mean, who's to really say? Like, you could say, yes, it's bad for my viewpoint of the industry, but if somebody else doesn't care, then that kind of negates your stance on it. And I mean, at the end of the day, you can always boot up Dolphin and emulate these things and make them look better than they'll look on the Switch or the Switch 2. It's very easy to set up Dolphin. You get yourself a little Wiimote off of Amazon or something like that for, you know, a couple bucks, and then you're good to go. You can play the games exactly how you would on a Nintendo Wii or a Switch in this case, and then still have those motion controls and still be able to experience the whole game. at higher resolutions and better visual fidelity, because there are free texture packs out there. I don't blame anyone for buying this game, though. You know, maybe curiosity will get the better of me, and I'll pick up Super Mario Galaxy 2. Maybe. I don't know. Do you guys want me to? Do you want me to buy this? Do you want me to talk about this? I mean, I guess I could if there's enough interest in it. But then again, my position is different than your position because it's kind of my job to cover this stuff. Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.